Okay, I can see the chats now. Okay. Hello, hello, hello everyone. Hello everyone. Am I audible? Umang, can you share my screen, please? Thank you. Okay. So hello, hello, hello everyone. Good evening, all of you. Good evening, all of you. And I welcome again you guys to the third day of the JavaScript Essential session. So I hope everyone is doing good and fine. And welcome to or welcome back to the last session of JS Essentials. Okay. And I really hope that I'm audible, completely audible, and my screen is visible as well. Yes, Abhiram, buddy, I remember you. Yep, I remember you, buddy. I remember. I almost remember every one of you by the names actually. And if you like attend multiple essentials, then I yes, it's like quite easy for me to remember your names. So yeah, that's cool. Okay. So the first question: did you guys complete the assignment? There were two questions, right? I hope everyone found the assignment on the community. Okay, I uploaded it by like 10 or 10:30. So I really hope that everyone found the assignment and everyone did the assignment. So everyone, please tell me, have you guys completed the assignment? Have you complete entire syllabus of JavaScript? Nope. Nope. We are actually not even completing the entire syllabus of JavaScript because we only had 3 days and today is the last day. So we only completed the programming basics, the fundamentals of JS, and also we are aiming to like at least learn a little bit about DOM manipulation. Okay. So yeah, we are not aiming towards completing the entire JavaScript because it's too big and we only have 3 days. Okay, but we are aiming towards at least we'll learn a little bit of DOM manipulation, but also we'll learn the basics of JS like objects, arrays. So yesterday we finished off with loops and arrays. Today we'll focus on objects, and then once we finish objects and once we like learn a little bit about it, once we start working with it, then we'll shift to DOM manipulation and we'll also learn about it. Give me the second assignment. It's on the community, guys. Everyone who is like unable to find the assignment, it is on the community. I hope everyone has joined the group. So the group link is in the chat. To join, like the link from where you can join the group is in the chat. Click on it, just go there, log in and join the group, and it will be easier for you. Just join the group, and all the assignments, all the files I share there, you'll easily find them. Okay, the group link is in the chat, everyone. Ashwin, Raj, the group link is in the chat. The group link is in the chat. It's going on in the chat. Is my voice echoing? Everyone, please tell me. Is my voice like clear or is it echoing? Everyone, I'll adjust my mic a little. Is it echoing or is it clear to everyone? Okay. Abhiram, yes, you can ask your doubt in the community. Everyone, guys, whatever doubt you have, you can go on the community, write down your doubt, and just tag me by writing @ and my name, and I'll be answering it. So just write down the doubt on the community, and I'll solve it for you. No matter the group, no matter wherever you are, just go on the community, write down your doubt related to anything, and I'll solve it. Okay. So guys, let's start with today's session and let's open our VS Code. And here we go. This is where we finished off yesterday. Basically, we learned how to create an array and how to print all the values of that array using the loop. So that's what we learned. Okay. And today we will start with something called as objects. And then again, we'll try to mix array and objects. And then again, we'll try to use loops to run them or to execute them or to print them. Okay. And after that, we'll start with DOM manipulation. So we have a lot of things to cover today. So let's get started. Okay. So I hope everyone is cleared with the array, and I really hope that everyone is cleared with the loop. Okay. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to create some new files actually. So let's keep these files because I have shared this like directly to you on the community. So let's create some new files where we can learn the new things. Okay. Okay, fine. So let's just go on and let's write like second.html. So this will be our HTML file. Okay. And then let's again go on and create a second.js, which will be your JS file. Okay, cool. Now let's write the basic HTML first, and we know how it comes there. Simply write HTML and the hint will come here. Not coming here right now because I think my VS Code is a little slow. That's fine. Here we go. We don't need this meta tags right now, so we can remove them. And everyone, come on, tell me how to link JavaScript. Come on, guys. How to link JavaScript. So the topic for today is object and DOM manipulation. So I'm just putting that in the title. Guys, come on, everyone, tell me how to link the JavaScript file. Everyone, come on, I'm waiting for the answers. How to link exactly by using the script tag. So that's cool that you guys remember. So let's go for the script tag. And then let's simply go here, src, and then simply put second.js, and that's it. That's done. And that's really cool that you guys remember it. So yep, amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay, now we can close the first.html and first.js because we don't need it right now. Okay, so we can simply focus on second and second.js. And also let's run this file. So for this, first of all, let me take a browser window, and here we go. Here is our browser window, and let's run this file and open the console as well, because again today we are going to work with console a lot. So let's open the console. So copy the path, go in your browser and just paste it, and also open the console. And here we go. A good looking empty console and nothing on the HTML page. That's totally fine. Now, just to confirm that the page is linked perfectly, what we'll do is we'll just put a simple console.log, and if it appears on the console, that means the pages are properly linked. The JS page and the HTML pages are properly linked. Let's simply put like linked. Save it. Let's go on the browser, refresh, and here we go. We get linked. That means it is linked. No problems at all. Okay. So now, guys, we have learned arrays, we have learned loops, we have learned conditionals, and we have also learned how to create the basic variable thing and how to print. So we have like almost covered all the programming fundamentals. Now here, I can't see any assignment regarding day 2. Please help. Gunturu, have you joined the group, buddy? Have you joined the group? You have to join the group. In that group, I'm posting the assignment. So first of all, you have to join the group, Gunturu. Okay. So that's cool, guys. Now let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Okay. So now, today, the first topic that we have here is one of the most important topics in JavaScript. See, everything is important. Loops are important, and arrays are important. Everything is important. But why I'm saying that this is one of the most important topics is it is used a lot. A lot of things in here are going to be an object in future. Like when you go for some data, let's say you're calling a network for data, you're going to get an JSON object. So a lot of things that you're going to deal in JavaScript with, like in future, when you start actually working with an application where you get a lot of data, right? So your data mostly 99% of the time will be in an object format. And that's why learning objects is one of the most important things. And it is also one of the most easiest things. A lot of people find it confusing, but no problems. We'll try to make it simple here. Okay, but what I'm saying, well, like why I'm saying it's one of the most important, because in future, when you actually work with real life applications, the data that you receive or the data that you send will be mostly in the form of objects. Okay, that's why it is one of the most important topics. Okay, guys, so can we start, everyone? Are we excited? Please just give me a cheer, everyone. Are we excited? Please tell me. We can start then. And I'll just write today's topic's title, that is objects. Okay, everyone, come on. I want to see. Still waiting, everyone? Okay, that is really cool. Okay, so let's start learning about objects. So first of all, what is an object in JavaScript? And why I'm specifying JavaScript? Because it works a little different here. As compared to all other languages like Java and C#, the formation of objects works a little different in vanilla JavaScript. In plain JavaScript, the formation of objects works a little different. The concept is same, but the formation is different. That's why I'm specifying let's learn objects in JavaScript. Okay, so now what is an object in JavaScript? It's nothing but a collection of properties. An object is nothing but a collection of properties. That's all. Object in JavaScript is nothing but a collection of properties. We can also add functions to it, but right now let's keep it simple. So let's just call it a collection of properties. Now, just for understanding, what is a property? Property is nothing but just like a variable. Property is nothing but just like a variable that can hold a value. Okay. Yes, Sagar Boyer. It's the we in object-oriented programming. That is what I'm saying, right? It's a little different here. When we are doing object-oriented programming, in that case, object is nothing but an instance of a class. But here we don't call it instance of a class, because here we're going to create object without a class. That's why, guys, please focus on my words, what I'm saying. I told you, right? We are learning objects in JavaScript, and I told you that it's a little different. The formation of objects, it's a little different. When you actually go for object-oriented programming languages like Java and C Sharp, and also when you do object-oriented programming in JavaScript as well, then you have classes and objects. But now, right now, we are learning about objects in plain JavaScript, and it's a little different. Okay, Sagar, please focus. It's a little different. That's why a lot of people who are coming from object oriented background, they get confused in JavaScript because objects work a little different here. That's why they get confused, but you don't have to. Okay, so let's start. So objects in JavaScript are nothing but a collection of properties. That's it. And a property is nothing but it's just like a variable that can hold some value. That's it. Object is a collection of properties, and a property is nothing but a variable that can hold a value. That's completely it. That's totally it. But now you can say, like, if I want to create a variable, why do I need to create an object? I can also create a variable normally, right? If I want to create a variable, like if I want to store data, I can simply create a variable. Why to create an object? Like, why to create a different structure for it? I can normally create a simple variable. So now you're going to see it, what is the actual difference. So let me first show you how to actually create an object in JavaScript. Okay, so guys, please focus. This is how you create an object in JavaScript. So first of all, simple, you're using your let. Okay, then give any name to your object. So let's say I give a name of object. So, or you can, like, let's call it like, okay, let's fine, call it obj. So currently I name my object obj. You can name it anything depending on the situation, depending on your needs. Right now I'm calling it objects, and then just put an equal to, and then you have to use this curly braces, or in this case they are called as object literals. In this case they are called as object literals. Okay, or you can also call it curly braces. But remember, guys, this is not a block. This is actually your object literal, and inside this you simply specify your properties and their values. You simply specify your properties and their values. Simple. Okay, now just to simplify it, how do you actually write your properties and value? So you write your property name. Now you don't use equal to inside object, you use a colon. So when you're inside an object and you're assigning some value to a property, you don't use equal to. The syntax goes like this: you use a colon, and then you can pass your value, and then finally at the end you have to put a comma. Okay, for example, you can go like this: name colon Saurabh. If you want one more property, just put a comma, come down, let's say age colon. Simple. If you want one more property, just come down, let's say city colon, something like this. Okay, so let me just remove this first from here so that the object is clear. And that's how an object looks like. This is how an object looks like. Okay, it's simply nothing but a collection of properties. It's simply nothing but a collection of properties. Now you can say that, sir, if I'm creating three variables, then why to put it inside an object? I can also create three variables just outside the object and they will work fine. So yes, they will work fine. But when you need a really detailed and a really structured data, then you need an object. Like, basically, why you create an object, you want to specify something. For example, let's not call it object, let's call it human. Okay, let's call it human. Okay, so in this case you can say that these three properties are nothing but these three properties belong to this human. Okay, that means this set of data belongs to this particular human. That's it. So basically, when you have a collection of related properties, that's when you want to create an object. It's like more structured data. If you create variables normally, they are just fine, they are just like outside the block, they are just simply there. But when you want to like feel like, okay, fine, this data belongs to something, like this data belongs to a single human. Okay, when you want to represent something like this, then you create an object. No comma after Mumbai. Yes, for the last property you don't have to do it. For the last property you don't have to put a comma. If you want to create one more property, then you put a comma. Otherwise, no need of comma at the end. Is that clear, Meghna? So basically, you create an object when you want to structure a data to represent something. It's exactly like three variables. If you want, you can also create three variables: name, age, and city. But here we know that this is a collection. This is a collection of three properties and they belong to something. So we know that these three properties are related and they belong to a single entity, like a human or a car or anything. So that's what they work like. You basically get an object when you feel like, okay, fine, this set of data, like all these 4 or 5 data is like belongs to something or is related to something, or they are related to each other. They are representing a single entity, and that's where you create an object. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Kiran Kanti is asking, is the semicolon needed? No, not inside the object. Yes, if you want, you can go for here. But in JavaScript, semicolon is not a mandatory thing. But yeah, it's good if you put it. It's a good habit to put it. But in JavaScript, semicolon is not needed. It's not a mandatory thing. In JavaScript, semicolon is not a mandatory thing. But it's good always to put it. So is that clear, everyone? So basically, you create an object to represent an entity. Like this data, these three data is actually related. Okay, and they are representing a single entity. Like for example, okay, there's a human whose name is Saurabh, whose age is 26, and whose city is Mumbai. That's how it works. It's like a more structured data. That's it. That's it, guys. Everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared? Please tell me. So when the data is related and you want to represent an entity means a live thing. That's all, an object. Entity is also an object. So simple, a live thing. When you want to represent a single entity, then that's where you create an object. And it's like a more structured data. Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, please tell me, are we cleared? I want answers from everyone. All the people, all the 100 people watching now, I want answers from everyone. Are we cleared? Because once you understand this, then there is no confusion in object in future, because a lot of people actually get confused in objects, and I don't want that here. So if everyone is cleared, then that's fine. In big program, a semicolon can create a bug. That's on us actually, right, Aryan Sharma? That's basically on us. Like if you put proper semicolons, it will never create a bug. If you know how to, like, where to put properly semicolons, it will never create a bug. Okay, Chandresh, what is your confusion, buddy? See, creation of object is really simple. You simply give a name, curly braces, and all the properties. Understanding the concept behind the object is important. Creation of object is simple. You give a name equal to curly braces and then simply write your properties. But understanding the concept is important. Whatever is inside this curly braces belongs to a single entity. All these three data belongs to a single entity, and that's why you're encapsulating them into a curly braces, into a block, so that you can tell that these three properties belong to the same entity. That's it. Lucky Jane, it's just a sample. In this case, it's just a sample. I'm just like calling it human. That's all. That's all. Yes, I know that in future it can be an array as well, but that's fine. So the concept behind creating an object is you simply structure the data that belongs to a single entity. That belongs to a single entity. For example, sir, is equal after is mandatory. Equal after what? So is that clear? Concept is clear, Chandresh? The name of the object is human and the rest are entity of the object. The rest are property of the object, not entity. These are the properties of the object. Like for example, if I am an entity, my eyes, my name, my age, my city are basically my properties. So that's it, the properties. Is that clear, everyone? For example, you can have like this: let car equals name of the car. Okay, let's say, and whatever features it has, speed of the car and price of the car and whatever you want. It can be a product. So basically all the properties belong to a single entity. Okay, Lucky, are we clear with this? And that's it. That's how you create an object. Okay, simple. Now I also want to show you how to actually work with it. Equal to after human, yes, you have to, because see, normally when you do it like this, it's like a variable, right? Human is like a variable in which you're storing an object. So you need equal to, right, for assignment. It's just like this. Let a equals 1. You need equal to for assignment. You're assigning an object to this human variable. You're saying this human variable that you're an object now. Is that cleared? Yes, I'm going to tell you how to access. Don't worry. Fine. Now let's create a simple object just to understand how to access those properties and how to use them. Could you please tell when to use semicolon? Semicolon is just like you use it everywhere, just like normal programming languages. After end of your particular statement, you can use a semicolon. Simple. But I'm saying is, in JavaScript, semicolon is not mandatory. So if you want, you can like ignore it. If you want, you can use it everywhere. Just like C language, just like C++, you have to use it after every statement. See, for example, in our first.js, I think I have used it everywhere. See here, after console.log, I think I have not used it here. I have also used it here. So I have used it everywhere because I have a habit of using semicolons, because I don't only work with JavaScript, I also work with different language, right? So just so that I don't get confused, I use semicolons in all the languages, so that I have a habit of using it, so that I don't have to develop two habits of not using semicolons in JavaScript and using semicolons somewhere else. I personally like to use semicolons everywhere if it is there. Okay, that's cool. Now, so then let's create a really simple object. So let's call it product. Okay, so product is an object. Now let me define the properties of that product. So I'm going to say name, and let's say name is Samsung, anything like I don't know the model. Put anything I just saw an ad. So Samsung M51, and then let's say price is one more property of that product. So I'll put like it's a number, so you don't have to put double quotes. 23,000, and let's say I have one more property named color, that is simply black. So see, there's a product object, and these are all the three features which define the product. That is, product is Samsung M51, its price is 23,000, and the color of this product is black. Is that clear, everyone? Yeah, simple. And now let's see actually how to use it. So let's print it. Console.log. Let's first directly print the product. Let's simply print the product, complete object at once. Okay, let's save it and see what is happening here. Refresh, and here we go. See, your console is also printing the whole object. That's where console helps. This console is not like normal consoles of C and C++. This console, this JavaScript console or the browser console, is much better console than every other language's console. You have seen the Java console, right? It's simple white thing, but you can only print, but you cannot see all the data in detail. In C and C++ console, it's a black console. You can only see the final data. Here, you can print an array, you can print an object, you can see errors, you can do everything. Okay, you can do all, like these things. Open the object and see what are all the properties and everything. So this console is much better than a lot of consoles. Okay, that's why this is one of the famous consoles when you work with web. That's why it is one of the most used things on the web in the developer tools. Okay, because it gives you the feature of understanding everything or reading everything in detail, whether it is an array, whether it is an object, whether it is in data, anything. So guys, are we cleared? Here we go. See, we have the whole object. But now the thing is, how can I access a single property? Can we use equal to for the property and its value? No, dip. That's what I told, right? When you're inside an object, you have to use colon. You cannot use equal to. That's what I told in the start. That's the syntax, Deep Dattani. So you cannot use equal to here. Guys, everyone, please remember, you cannot use equal to here. You should not use equal to here, okay? Inside the object, it should be always colon. Guys, please remember it. Everyone, please remember it. Now, we're talking about how to access a single property from that object. So it's really simple. You first write the object name. Okay. So now here I write product. That means I have the object. Then if you want to access any property, simply put dot and then whatever property you want to access. So I want to access name, and that's it. Product dot name, and save it. And here we go. See, I get the name. If you want, you can also print the product dot price. Here we go, just like this. Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared with this? How to access the properties? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared? Okay, that's cool. Now, there is one more way of accessing properties. There is one more way of accessing properties. Okay, I want to tell you that as well. So if you want, you can also access the property by using the array notation like this. Product of, and then you can just put like color like this. So it's just like product dot color, but you can also write it like this, product of color. But here you have to mention it as a string. Here you have to mention the property as a string. And now see, I'm also able to access the color. So you can also access it like this. Suppose we have more product like this. Do we need to create an object for each? Yes, you have to create an object for each. Exactly. Yep. Because every product is a different object, right? So yes, you have to create an object. And don't worry, I'm going to show you that, how to do that very cleanly and comfortably. I'm also going to show you that. Don't worry. Okay, everyone, are we cleared? So this is one more way of accessing it. You can access it like an array. So product of that particular property, but you have to mention the property as a string. Are we cleared? Just like when I say as a string, that means in a single quotes or double quotes. But now the question here can be, why do we have two methods or two ways of accessing properties? Is it needed? Is it needed? That's what we have to understand now. Like, it's a good question. Why do we have two ways of accessing it? If one way is working fine, why do we have the second way? So now I'm going to tell you that as well. Now it's really important, guys. Focus on this. It's really, really important to understand. Okay. So now let's say like let's say I want my user to tell me which property to access. Okay. I want my user to tell me which property to access. I'm not defining that I want to access color or name or something. I want my user to tell me. So let's say user will pass, he wants to access name, or he wants to access price, or he wants to access color, and I store user's data in a variable. So let's say I create a variable called property. Okay. And then whatever the user is passing, I store here like this, name. So in this case, user has passed name. That means the user wants to access the name property of the object, and I have stored user's value in a variable called property, or you can also call it like p, doesn't matter, simply call it p. Okay. Or yeah, p, that's fine. Now see, guys, everyone please focus. Okay, please focus. Now see, if I want to access the name property, and then I have stored name in p, so if I write product.p, I'll be actually unable to access, because when you write, like when you use the dot notation, it tries to find out this exact same property. It doesn't check that, okay, this is actually a variable and it's actually having a property name inside it. It doesn't check. The dot notation will try to find out the p property inside the object, and there is no p property. It is not checking that p is also having a value and I have to work for that value. So dot notation works with fixed property names. The property name should be fixed, direct. Is that cleared? And then in this case, you cannot use this. In dot notation, you cannot use dynamic variables or dynamic properties. Okay. So let me, and here actually you can go for this. And in this case, it works. In this case, if I pass product of p, it will check what is the value of p. Okay, it's name. That means I'm trying to access product of name, and now it should work. So let's see. And here we go. We again get the name. So when you have the property coming from the user side, or you have the property coming from dynamic side, and you are storing it in a variable, and then you want to use it, you cannot use dot notation. In that case, you have to use the array notation. Are we cleared, everyone? So you use dot notation when you're fixed, that you know this is the property I want to access. But when your property is coming inside a variable, or it is coming from somewhere dynamic and you want to access it, then you have to use the array notation. So that's the difference, guys. That's the difference. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, please tell me. So whenever your property is dynamic, you have to use array notation. Whenever your property is fixed, you know what is the property name, you can directly go for it. Okay, everyone, are we cleared? Yes, Divya, I'll repeat it for you, don't worry. See, what I was saying is, see, my property name is stored inside a variable. That means, see, I want to access name. Okay, I want to access name, and it's stored inside a variable called p. Now that means my property, I'm not writing my property name directly. My property name is stored inside a variable, and if I write that variable here, I'm expecting that, okay, fine, if I write the variable, the name will be replaced here. But no, it doesn't work like that. For dot notations, you should directly write the property. For dot notations, you cannot write a variable. That means if your property is stored inside a variable, you cannot use the variable. You cannot use the variable with dot notation. You have to write the exact same property name. And if you want to do this, if you want actually that your properties get actually stored in variable, and if you want to access your property using that variable, then you have to use array notation. So product.p will not work. Product.p will not work. Product.p will do what? It will try to find a p property inside the object, and it's not there. So we'll get an error, or it will get an undefined. Okay. But yes, product of p will work. It will work like, okay, fine, I know the value of p, it's name. That means the user is trying to find out product of name. So it will definitely work. Okay. So that's what I want to clear here. So in dot notation, direct property names, that's it. In array notations, direct property names, as well as if you have a property name stored inside a variable, you can still use it. Okay. So I hope that's clear, everyone. Okay, cool. Now let's move ahead. Okay. Now I also want to show you something else. Okay, and let me remove this because I have removed the variable now. Okay. So now I also want to show you something else. What if you want to add a property, add a new property inside this object, but not by writing it here, not by writing it here. What if I want to add a new property inside this object, but not by writing inside the object, from outside the object? How can I do it? And it's really simple. It's really simple. You can simply go like this: product, object name, then whatever property you want to create, simply create it. Like for example, let's say we call it what else we can have, guys, in product? Color, price, name, let's say quantity. Fine. So whatever property you want to add, simply write that property and equal to, pass a value like 23, and that's it. That's it. No, we cannot use push, Lucky. It's not an array. It's an object. Lucky, are you understanding? It's an object. It's not an array. Push is a method for arrays, not for objects. Is that clear, Lucky? Okay. So if you want to add a property inside the object, simply go for product dot any property in that you want to put here. Just put it there and equals to value. And now if you like print the whole object, you'll see that quantity property is also added. If you print the product object here, after this line, you'll see that the quantity property is also added. Can you see that, everyone? So that's how you add a property dynamically into an object. Simply the object name dot any property that you want to add, just that name equals to any value, and that's it. Done. Settled. Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared, everyone? That's how you add a property into the object, and that's how like simple it is actually. Simplest form. In running website, why we can't put value direct in object? We can put it. We can put it. Who says we can't, Aryan? We can definitely put properties inside object directly. Is that cleared? So it's not like that. In a running, that's what JavaScript is. JavaScript works in running websites. JavaScript is dynamic. JavaScript works in running website. JavaScript manipulates the whole website while it is running. Okay, so yes, you can actually manipulate the objects while it is running. So yep, that is completely possible. How do we take input from end user? Don't worry, Meghna. I'll just tell you just in time. Don't worry. Just wait for 5 minutes. Let's complete the object concept and then we'll move to how to take inputs. Don't worry about it. Okay, everyone, are we cleared? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. See, someone is asking here, where is that doubt? Okay, someone actually asked that let is blocks code. See, everyone, here let doesn't matter. This is not a function block. This is not a block. It's an object. It's an object literal. So in this case, this curly braces is an object literal. Okay, this curly braces is an object literal. Don't confuse it. It's not a block. We also create blocks using curly braces, but here it is an object literal. It's not a block of code execution. It's simply an object literal which has properties. That's it. Okay, that's cool, guys. Now let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so we are clear with how to create objects, we are clear with how to add properties, and we are clear with how to access properties in 2 ways. Okay, now I want to move on to the next thing, and the next thing is, okay, the next thing is, what if I have multiple objects? What if I have 3 products? How to implement JavaScript projects? Any examples? Yes, don't worry, Sagar. I'm going to tell you that. Don't worry. In just some time, let's complete the concept of objects, and then we'll move on to DOM manipulation, and you'll understand how we actually implement JavaScript into real websites. Okay. Okay, guys, let's move ahead now. So now I was talking about what if I have 3 objects? What if I have 3 products? How to maintain that data? So that's simple. You can also do this. See, first, let's go simply. Okay, let's go by simplifying it. So the first thing you can do is you can do this. You can call it product 1. You can call this product 2. You can create one more object, call this product 2, and let's say we simply like put like this. Okay, let's go for this and let's go for this. Okay, let's say you have 3 products. So I decide, okay, fine, I need one more object. Okay, let product 3, and let's call it like okay, anything like fine, 26, and let's say something like this. So now I had 3 objects and I created simply 3 different objects. That's totally fine. That's perfectly fine. It is not a bad way. It is also good, but not the best way. Why? Because think of it like this. What if you have like thousands of products? What if you have thousands of products? That's fine. If there are thousands of products, we will definitely have thousands of objects. There is no replacement for that. But I think if you have thousands of products, accessing the name of all the products will become tough, because you have to write console.log 1,000 times. Simple, right? For example, see, in this case, if I want to access the name of all the 3 products, what I have to do? I have to go like this, right? Console.log product1.name. Perfect. If I want the second product's name, I have to write console.log product2.name. If I want the third product's name, I have to put console.log product3.name. That's fine. It works. I have all the 3 names. But what if I actually had thousands of objects? That means in that case, I have to write this console.log 1,000 times. I have to do anything 1,000 times if I have thousands of objects. And that's where the problem is. And the funny part is, I cannot even apply loop here. Because you can apply loop if you have a thing like indexing or something like that. Here it's like this: product 1, product 2, product 3, and these are like object names. I cannot make them dynamic like using loops. I cannot make them dynamic. If I can make them dynamic, I can use loops here, but I cannot make them dynamic. I cannot make these names dynamic here. And that's the problem. Okay. So the problem is, if I have thousands of objects, okay, and then if I want to use all their names, I have to write whatever I want 1,000 times, and that's the problem. And I cannot even use loops because nothing is dynamic here. Is that clear, everyone? Are we understanding? Everyone, please tell me, are we understanding? Yes, Chandresh, it's exactly like structure in C. Exactly. Okay. But yeah, a lot of things are different because structure is value type, and here these objects are reference types. So that's the difference. But yeah, looks exactly like structure. So everyone, are we like understanding the problem? Everyone, please tell me, are we understanding the problem? Guys, are we understanding the problem? Please tell me, everyone. Okay, because if you understand the problem, then only you can understand the solution in the best way. Okay, so now we know the problem. So what can be the solution? Because see, if we have 3 products, we definitely have to create 3 objects. There is no option. And this is the only way in which I can print the names. And I have a lot of problems. So is there a solution for this? So yes, there is a solution. And the solution is, now see, I know that this is an object. I know that this is an object. Okay. So what if I decide I will put my objects inside an array? Because what is an array? Array is nothing but collection of elements. Now that element can be a number, that element can be a string, or that element can also be an object. Doesn't matter. Something like this. For example, see, I create an array named let products. I name it product because it's going to have multiple products, right? So I simply name it products. Equals, I create an array. Okay. And the first element of this array will be this object. Here we go. Now this is the element that is on the 0th index because it's the first element. This whole object is an element on the 0th index. And then put a comma and then at the next object. Put a comma and then at the next object. So now my array has 3 elements and all the 3 elements are an object, nothing else. And now I don't have different names for different objects. And now if I don't have different names for different objects, that means I can do something because I know the problem was the name of the object, right? This was the problem. And now we have removed the name and we have put everything inside an array. So now, is it solving our problem? That's again a thing to understand. Is it solving our problem? Let's try to see it. Let's print the complete array first. Okay. So console.log products, my complete array. Let's see. Here we go. See, it has 3 elements and all the 3 are objects. Can you see that? All the 3 are objects. So the first object is on which index? 0th index. We are sure for that. The second object is on the first index and the third object is on the second index. Are we understanding, everyone? Guys, please tell me, are we understanding this much? So now I have all my 3 objects inside an array. So now my array has 3 elements and each of the element is an object. So the first object is on the 0th index, the second object is on the first index, and the third object is on the second index. That means, now you guys tell me, if I want to access the first object, what do I have to write here? Think of it like if I want to access the first element. Don't think of the object. Think of it like I want to access the first element. What do I write here? Come on, tell me, you have learned it yesterday. I want to access the first element. What do I write here? Everyone, come on. guys, I want to access the first element from the array. No, you don't have to use dot. Ajay, you don't have to use dot, right? Products is an array. Products is an array, right? Ajay, don't get confused, buddy. Always read your code. Understand what are you working with. Products is an array. And if you want to access the first element of an array, you simply put of 0. And that's it. Here you go. And now you are understanding that, okay, fine. The first element of the array was an object. And now I have my object. Simple. That means this thing is giving me an object. Products of 0 is an object. Are we cleared, everyone? Okay. Now, if this thing is giving me the object, that means here, this thing itself is an object. This thing is giving me the object, right? Like if I want, I can store it somewhere, or I can directly use this as an object, because this thing is giving me the object. Okay. And then I can simply let products equals, yeah, why not? That will also work. Not a problem. But that's just an extra line of code, Shankar Shinde. That will definitely work. If you want that, that will definitely work. But that's just an extra line of code. You don't need that actually. Okay. So now, guys, this thing is giving me the object. And if this is giving me the object, here I can simply go here and write dot name, and I can access the name. Simply I can go dot price like this. Or let's say I want to access the name of the second object. What do I have to do, guys? I want to access the name of the second object. What do I have to do? Come on, everyone. Again, tell me, what do I have to do? I want to access the name of the second object. Everyone, where do I have to change? Come on, tell me really fast. Exactly. Here we go. 1. And that's it. I am getting the name of the two objects. And same like this, I can also access the name of the third object, that is product of 2 dot name. And that's it. Done. Settled. Now, if you see this, you can recall something. Yesterday, we learned how to actually, like if you want, you can also loop through an array. And now it exactly looks same, right? You have console.logs. Everything is completely same. The only difference is the increment. And we know how to manage this. We can definitely go for a loop, right, everyone? We can definitely go for a loop here, because this is, I'm accessing the element and then I'm accessing the property of that object. Everyone, are we cleared? And by seeing this, I can understand that now I can go for a loop, right? Because yesterday also we understood that if I'm accessing the array elements, I can access them with loops. And here also I can do the same thing. So now what you can do here is, you can simply go for like this. For I equals 0, I is less than, again, products is an array. So less than products dot length. We learned it yesterday. And then I plus plus. And I forgot, here I don't have to put comma. It should be semicolon. Sir, what happen if product name is different? I don't understand your question, Akash. Like, are you telling about this? What happen if this is different or the value is different? What are you asking? Yes, Anay, definitely we can also use map, but we have not learned map yet. First of all, we have to make our basic strong, right? Like map is another utility function, but for is something that is always there in all the programming languages. So first of all, we have to make our basic strong, right? Okay. So guys, is this your question? Who was asking this? Akash, is this your question, buddy? Tell me. So are you asking if this is different? So don't worry, if this is different, that means there is no name property. Simple. There is no name property and nothing will be there. Simple. If I change the name for this, then this del monitor will never come because it's not having a name property now. It's having a different property name. But that's the whole concept, right? That you have to give proper names so that you can work with objects properly. That's the whole concept of objects. You have to give proper names so that your data structure, your structure that you're making can look good and can work good. That's what you have to do, right? Okay, guys. So now let's go for the loop again. Let's copy this, paste it here. And now you guys tell me what I have to change. I have to simply remove 0 and I have to put what? I, because that is something I want to be incremented. Okay, and that's it. Save it. And here we go. Same output. And that's it, done. We can also use some same procedure again and again by using function, method, or same entry. Yes, Sagar, why not, buddy? Yes, why not? Definitely. If I have functions, we can use it. Definitely, why not? So guys, are we cleared? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared with this? Everyone? So that's how you work with an array of objects. And that's how you're going to get your data in future. In future, you're going to get all of your data either as an object or as an array of objects. Remember this, guys. And that's how you can work with it. Now, there is much more to it, but still we are on essentials. So that's the basic I wanted to tell you about objects. If there are different properties in objects, and how to print products of I dot property. I don't understand the question. Like what? Like you can do this, right? You can also do this, right? Price. You can also do this, right? Is this your question, Chandresh? You can also print all of your properties. So products of 0 dot name, products of 0 dot price, products of 0 dot color. And then next time, products of 1 dot name, 1 dot price, 1 dot color. Next time, 1 dot, sorry, 2 dot name, 2 dot price, 2 dot color. Simple. Do this and all of them will be printed. See, the first three, the next three, and the last three. If all objects did not contain names, simple, you'll get undefined. That's it. For example, let's say you create one more object. Okay, that's simple. That's so simple. See, if you create one more object and let's say it has price and but it does not have name. It has price and color. It is not having name. See what will happen? You'll simply get undefined. That's all. That means it's not there. JavaScript will basically tell you that it's not there. That's it. No error. Simply, it's not there. It's undefined. That's it. Done. So if you're trying to access some property that is not there inside the object, will simply get undefined. That means it is saying it's not there. Okay, that's it. Undefined basically is the way, like like JavaScript basically says that okay, fine, this thing is not there that you're trying to access. That's it. That's what JavaScript says when it is giving you undefined. That means it's saying the data that you're trying to access, the property that you're trying to access, it's not there. How do we print all of the objects from the array? We have done that. Tech under radar, buddy, we have done that. See, I think you have joined late, maybe, or I think you're still on the, maybe you're a little back in the video. Okay, can we show some message at undefined? Yes, why not? Why not? You can show a message at undefined. You can simply write a if condition, right? You can simply write an if condition, and you can simply write a if condition. Just check if products of I dot name is equal to undefined. Show some message if you want. Simple. It's just a condition again. Okay, so guys, are we cleared? Everyone, are we clear with how to work with objects and how to create objects? And now you tell me, was it easy or was it tough? Undefined and null are different. Yes, Bishan Singh, undefined and null are different. Undefined, basically JavaScript gives you undefined if the thing is not there, if the thing is not even created. And it gives you null if something is there, but it is not having a value. For example, let's say you're trying to access a variable called age. Okay, and I have not created age anywhere, so you'll get undefined. But if you have a value of age like this, but there is no value, and now if you try to access age, you will get a null. So variable is there, memory is there, but it's not having any value, so it's null. But if the thing is not there that you're trying to access, then you get undefined. Is that clear, Bishan Singh? So that's the difference between undefined and null. Okay, what will happen when price is string or int or double? Then how it will print? Not a problem, it will still print. Even if it is string or something, not a problem. While printing, it will print everything. Is that cleared? Who is asking that? Shankar, yeah, it will print. In this case, it doesn't matter because see, our properties are not having any data type. Our properties are not having any type. So in different objects, they can have different types. Not a problem at all. In the first object, the price can have a int. In the next object, the price can have a double. In the next object, the price can be a string, and still all will be printed perfectly. Okay, so that's cool, guys. That was all about objects. We still have much more. We still have a lot of things to learn, but the problem is we only have 3 days, and today is the last day. So I really hope that you guys understood at least the basics of object, and from now on, you'll never feel that objects are tough in JavaScript, right? I'll be really happy if you find objects really easy from now on in JavaScript. And from this, you can just have to go higher because these are the basics of objects that you should know when you start with JavaScript. Okay, that's cool, guys. So now we still have like around 1 hour left. So now you guys tell me, should we start with DOM manipulation, everyone? Should we start learning how to actually manipulate the real elements? Everyone. Okay. So I'll keep it here. I'll keep this file intact so that you can like have it, and I'll close it now. Okay, so I'll keep this file completely like this, because if I share with you, you should like see it properly. So I'll keep this file. And now let's actually move on to the DOM manipulation part. Okay, so I'll save all of it and I'll keep it. Okay, so for DOM, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to create a dom.html, okay, and a dom.js. And I think now you guys know how to link and everything. So I'm simply going to do it. So let me just do it fast. HTML5, I don't need the meta tag, so remove it. And one more thing, let me just remove this thing from here then, because we are not doing it here, right? Remove it. Simply objects. That's it. Now in here, I'm going to write, sir, if I want to access property only one in 0th position of an array, not all properties. So if you want to access only one, you can simply write product of 0. Then don't use the loop. Or if is a question like you want to access, like you want the loop, but you want to access the name only for the 0th object, right? So use a condition. If I is 0, that means if the index is 0, then only use the name. Otherwise, don't use the name. Simple. Is it clear, Sakshi? You simply have to put a if condition and check if the I is 0. That means if the index is 0, then print name. Otherwise, don't print name. And that's how you do it. Okay, so let's write DOM manipulation. I hope it's cleared, Sakshi. Okay, let's link the file as well. Simply have to write an if condition. That's all. src, and let's put dom.js. Save it now. Okay. Now, guys, we're actually starting with DOM manipulation, and I have explained to you what exactly is DOM manipulation, right? Whatever we create, whatever elements we create here, we know that whatever elements we create here, don't worry, Yuraj. We're also going to learn functions. Don't worry. Wait for some time. Don't worry. Let's go step by step. Okay. Let's go step by step. You're going to learn how to like work with functions as well. I'm going to show you that. Okay. Now, guys, let's focus on DOM manipulation again. So I told you, right? Whatever HTML you create, while executing that HTML, the browser converts your HTML code into a tree. The browser converts your HTML elements into a tree, and that tree is called as DOM. Okay, and JavaScript is a DOM manipulation language. That means JavaScript has the ability to manipulate that tree. JavaScript can manipulate the elements. JavaScript can remove the element. JavaScript can add an element. JavaScript can manipulate the CSS of the element. JavaScript can manipulate the attributes of the element. But you guys know that we don't see that tree. What we see is the code. We are unable to see that tree. What we see is the code, right? So in our case, we can think of that, okay, JavaScript is actually working with your code. But remember, JavaScript is working with the tree that is formed with this code. But in our case, we can't see that tree. So we'll refer the code. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So now let's start manipulation. Okay, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Can we start now? I hope I just gave a recap of what was DOM manipulation, because I explained it in the first day only. Okay, that JavaScript can manipulate the tree. It can add elements, remove elements, change the style of the elements, and change the attributes of the element. So guys, are we clear with the definition, everyone? Please tell me, guys, are we clear with the definition? And can we start now? Everyone, come on, tell me. Can we start? Okay, perfect. Let's go for it. So now, just for understanding, let's create a really simple p tag. Okay, and let's simply say like, hello, everyone. And let's create one more p tag. Okay, and let's call it like, let's upgrade. So now I have two elements. Okay, I have two elements in my tree, two p's in my tree. Okay, upgrade. Okay, I make a lot of spelling mistakes. Let's see the output, and also we have to run the other page now. Let's simply copy the path. Oh, come on. Copy the path. Go here, paste it. Cool, perfect. You can see I have two p's in my output. I have hello everyone, and I have let's upgrade. That's perfect. Fine, fine. Let's also apply some CSS to it. Let's also apply some CSS to it. Okay. Style p, and what I want to apply is I want to change the style of the p, and I simply want to change the font family. So I want to change the font family to Calibri. So my both p's font family will be Calibri. Here you go. You can see the font family has changed. Okay, everyone. I hope you can see it. Cool. So now I have two P's, and now let's start manipulating. But now, guys, remember, now the most important thing in DOM manipulation. Whenever you're performing DOM manipulation, whenever you want to work on an element, whenever you want to see, DOM manipulation is you basically select an element and you work with it. You select a P, you work on it. You change the CSS, you change the content, you change the style. You select an element, you work with it. Right? That's what DOM manipulation is. You select an element and you work with it. So the most important thing when you want to work with an element, or when you want to like change, or when you want to manipulate an element in the HTML, is first you have to learn how to select that element. First you have to learn how to fetch that element, and then only you can work with that element. Remember this. The most important thing in DOM manipulation is you should know how to fetch the element, how to select the element that you want to work with, and then you can work with it. So the first important thing is how to fetch the element. Okay. So now let's learn that first, and that's going to be really simple. So now there are a lot of ways of doing it. Okay, but I'm going to only teach you one way so that this session doesn't become long. So I'm going to teach you one way that you can use every time, everywhere. It's not wrong at all, and it's perfect actually. Okay. So there are multiple ways of fetching elements. I'm going to teach you one way out of it. That's the best way actually. One of the best ways. Okay. And that is you can do this. Document. Okay. Dot. Now remember guys, one more thing actually. Just like console, just like console, document is another object that you have. Just like console, document is also an object that you have. And document object is basically nothing but your page. Like if I print it, you will see. Let me just print the document object. I will show you what actually it is. So console.log. Let me print the document object. Guys, everyone see it. See. The document object is nothing but your page. Okay. Document object is nothing but your page. Okay. So document object directly gives you all the elements. Document object basically gives you the tree. Document object basically gives you the tree. That's it. Okay. Now let's move ahead. How to actually fetch an element. So let me like leave the console.log so that you can see how it is working. So you have to write the object name, which will give you the tree. So document gives me the HTML tree. Dot. You can simply write something called as query selector. You can simply write something called as query selector. Now there are multiple ways, guys. You can also, we have something called as get element by ID, get elements by class name, get elements by tag name. But if we work with all of that, we'll use a lot of time. So let's focus on one and let's try to perfect that one. Okay. So document dot query selector, and inside this bracket, you can mention with which element you want to work. So in our case, which element we have, guys? We have P, right? So I want to work with the P element, and that's it. I write P. Whatever element you want to work with, just write the name of that element, and that's it. Settled. So document.query selector P. That means, okay, fine. Please select the P element for me from the document, from the tree, and that's it. So now let's see what this document.query selector P is giving us back. So there's a difference between website and web application. So can tell us the use of JavaScript in those. See, in the core, website and web application are same. No difference. In the core, website and web application are same actually. There's no difference. You can call it a website, you can call it a web application. I think actually both are actually same. There is a little bit of difference that I'll tell you in future. Don't worry about it. But yes, in core, website and web application are same. And when you're on the web, JavaScript works same. The role of JavaScript is to manipulate the element. Doesn't matter if you're creating a web application, if you're creating a website. And as I'm saying, at the core, website and web application both hold the same meaning. They are not different normally. They are not different. Normally, what happens is when you create a website that is doing like a lot of stuff, right? That is doing like a lot of editing stuff and a whole lot of things. In that case, we call it a web application. Like a lot of people understand it like this. They call it a web application. And when there is something that is only like a readable format, like a static web page, we normally call it a website. But according to me, both are same. Because what is the concept of website? You're accessing a site, you're accessing an address on the web. So for accessing a web application, you also put an address, right? So web application is also nothing but a website only. So a lot of people find it different. A lot of people say like web application is something that does a lot of utilities, editing, inserting, and everything, a lot of operations. And website is something that is simply a static web page. But no, both are actually same. The meaning of website is you're accessing an address on the web. So even if you want to access a bigger website, even if you want to access a small website, you're going to pass an address, right? So simple, both are same. Is it clear, Chandresh? Are we cleared? So don't worry, both hold the same meaning according to me. Okay, so now guys, I wanted to see what this document.querySelector-p is giving me. So let's see. Refresh the page, and here we go. Can you see, guys, everyone, we got the first element. We got the first element, and that's what query selector does. So when you pass, like when you use document.querySelector and you pass the element that you want to fetch, okay, now you can see that I had two p elements. I actually had two p elements, but it only gave me the first one. So that's what query selector does. Even if you have multiple elements that match this name, even if you have multiple elements that match this name, query selector will only give you the first element. First element, that's it. So even if you have hundreds of p's, doesn't matter, I will only give you the first element. That's it. That's totally it. Is that cleared, everyone? Are we cleared? So by using query selector, you can always fetch the first element. Okay, if you have multiple elements, it will always give you the first element. If you want to fetch all of it, you can use query selector all, and now you will get all the p elements. So let's see, refresh, and see, now I get a node list. It's like an array actually. It's almost like an array, but it's not called as an array. It's called a node list. And now see, we simply get an array like structure in which on the 0th index I have the first p, on the first index I have the second p. Query selector is used only for element name. No, Bishan Singh, no. It's also used for class name and ID. I'm going to show you that. Don't worry. Okay, is that clear, everyone? So see, node list is just like an array like structure. Okay, node list is just like an array like structure, which is giving you both p's, and the first p is on the 0th index and the second p is on the first index. Is that clear, everyone? Now, what if you want a specific thing, right? So first of all, let me remove the query selector all. Okay, now we know that it will only give you the first element even if you have multiple elements, and that's why we normally try to avoid this thing. We normally try to avoid fetching elements using their tag name, and that's why we give something called as class. We give something called as class to the elements. Okay, and so that you can fetch the elements by using their class and not their tag name. So for example, I give it class of first. Okay, and I give it a class of second, and I can go like this. Instead of writing p, because p was your tag name, you can fetch the element using that class name. And when you're using a class name, don't forget to mention the dot, because if you know css, you know what is dot. If whenever you're using a class name, you have to mention dot. So dot first. In the same way, you can also access dot second, and now you can see I get both the elements, the first one and the second one both, because I'm printing both. Is that clear, everyone? So you can also fetch an element using the class name, not only the element name. But yes, if multiple elements have the same class, it will again give you only the first element. Remember it. Okay, so try to like be specific. Sir, what is the prototype and what is role of this in console? Prototype is actually a big concept in JavaScript. So that is something we are not covering now, but not a problem. In maybe in some future JS Essentials, or maybe when you come to the advanced course, I'll explain you what is actually prototype. Because right now, if I tell you, you'll get a little confused and will again use a lot of time for that. So don't worry about it right now. Mamta, you don't have to worry about it right now. It's actually a big concept. Okay, it's actually a cool concept that I'll tell you maybe in future JS Essentials, or maybe when you come to our advanced courses. Okay, Mamta? So I hope you're understanding. Right now, it will take a lot of time and we have a lot of things to complete. So don't worry about it. Don't worry. If you want, I'll share a document on the community which will explain what exactly is the prototype. Okay, so you can understand it from there. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, are we clear with this? Lucky, don't worry. Wait. I'm showing you. Don't worry. How to take input from user? I'm showing that. Don't worry. Are we cleared with this, guys? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared with this? Are we cleared with fetching elements? And also see, guys, if you want, you can also give IDs like this. Let's say, hello. See, I'm not explaining you guys what is class and what is ID, because I'm assuming that you know this. So if you know HTML and CSS, you know what is ID and class. If you don't know, please go in my HTML CSS Essentials that is on YouTube. You can watch it and understand what is ID, what is class, and everything. Right now, I'm not explaining what is ID class because I'm assuming that you guys know what is ID and what is class. Because if you're learning JavaScript, you should at least know HTML and CSS. So I'm assuming you know what is ID, what is class. And if you don't know, you can go and watch the HTML Essentials session. In that, I have explained what is ID, what is class in the perfect way. So you can watch it. So let's also give it an ID. So let's call it like 1. So you can also fetch elements using ID. Okay. So if you want, now for IDs, we don't use dots, we use hash. So simply use hash and that's it. On this channel only, Chandresh, on this channel only, buddy. On the Let's Upgrade channel only. Maybe it was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks back. So just search for HTML Essentials Let's Upgrade and you'll find my videos. Chandresh, you'll find my videos. I have done, like we have done a lot of HTML and CSS there. You'll actually learn everything about HTML and CSS there. Okay. So it's on only on this channel. Let's Upgrade. Okay, guys. So now I can see by using query selector, I can actually fetch everything. I can fetch elements using tag name. I can fetch elements using class name. And I can also fetch elements using IDs. Is that clear, everyone? So that's how you fetch elements. That's how you fetch elements. And you also have query selector all if you want to fetch all the elements matching a specific selector, whether it's a class or a tag name. Is that clear, everyone? Are we cleared? Okay, that's cool. Yes, Akash, you're correct, buddy. Yes, you're correct. ID is unique. It cannot be repeated. That's perfect. Okay. Okay, Deep, what is your confusion, buddy? What is your confusion? What is your confusion? So by using query selector, you can simply fetch an element. That's it. So you can mention class name, you can mention ID, you can mention tag name, and that's it. Okay, simple. As simple as that. Are we cleared, everyone? That's how you fetch the element. Remember, the most important thing is to fetch the element. Okay, once you fetch the element, then only you can perform DOM manipulation. Remember it, guys. Remember it. Hash, see, simple. When you're fetching an element using class, you have to mention dot. When you're fetching an element using ID, you have to mention hash. That's just how web understands what is the class and what is the ID. That's how the web differentiates between ID and class. So when you mention dot, it's a class. When you mention ID, when you mention hash, it's an ID. That's how we mention it. So for classes, we have to mention dot. For IDs, we have to mention hash. We can use same ID name on other element. No, you cannot use because IDs are unique. IDs are unique. You can only give single ID to single element. You cannot repeat IDs. You can repeat class names, but you cannot repeat IDs. Guys, see, for all these doubts, I would suggest you to go and watch my HTML and CSS essentials. Please, everyone who doesn't know HTML, everyone who is at the basics, I would suggest you to go and watch my HTML and CSS essentials, which is present on the same channel. Okay, please go and watch it. You can just finish it up in like 2-3 hours and you'll understand all about HTML and CSS, all about IDs and classes and everything. You'll understand every bit of it. Okay, because right now I'm assuming that you know what is class and what is ID. Deep, buddy, what is your confusion? Can you tell me? What is your confusion? Deep, what is your confusion? Can you tell me that? Tell me the confusion. Where are you confused? Where are you getting stuck in understanding it? Deep, I think you're watching it late, maybe. Yeah, that's why your doubts are coming late. Cool, fine, fine, fine. I think you're like just lagging a little behind in the video. Okay, now guys, let's move ahead. Now guys, remember, the most important thing was to fetch the elements. Once you have fetched the element, now you can manipulate the content of it. The content is what which is present inside the element, which is present in the opening and closing, which is present between the opening and the closing. Get element by ID is also used for it. Yes, it is also the same thing. Yeah, it will work. It will definitely work. It's just an alternative. This also can be used. That also can be used. Both will give you the same thing. Are we clear, Deep? So don't get confused, buddy. You can also use query selector to fetch elements. You can also use get element by ID or get element by class name to fetch elements. You have multiple ways of fetching elements. This is one way. That is another way. Is that clear? But just to save time, we're only going with this way for today's session. Okay, I hope you guys are understanding, everyone. Right now, this is the only way that you can like use and you can work with it. In future, I'm also going to teach you that. Don't worry about it. Okay, everyone, can we move ahead now? Which one is best practice? Both of them. Both of them. Because both of them are there, so both of them are best practice. There's nothing like, oh, in this case, there's nothing bad or good. Both of them are good. If this is good, that's what I'm teaching you, right? So this is also good, and that is also perfect, but I'm not teaching that because I told you that there is a time constraint. That's why I'm not teaching you that. Okay, everyone, can we move ahead now? Okay, so the first step was to fetch the elements, and have we understood it, everyone? When we use id and class, it depends. It completely depends. You can give id to fetch element, you can give class to fetch element. That's what I'm telling you guys. Everyone who is having confusion about id and class, please go on and watch the html and css essentials. Please, everyone, I would suggest you to go in and watch html and css essentials, because for javascript sessions I assume that you know html and css. So if you don't know, please go and watch it. Okay, you'll understand everything about html and css. Okay, here we are trying to only cover up JavaScript. If we go in HTML and CSS, then we will again use the time. Okay. So basically, see guys, just to tell you, ID and class are nothing. They are just like you give a nickname to your elements. You give a nickname to your elements to separate them from others. For example, see, these both are P. So by using this class names, I have separated them. I have given this P a different name of first. I have given this P a different name of second. So basically, classes and IDs are just like nicknames you give to your elements to separate them, because both of them were P and they were causing trouble to us. So that's why I gave them different names of first and second. Okay. Okay, guys. So now let's move ahead. So once you have fetched the element, you can actually start working in manipulating it. Okay. Now everyone, please focus. I want everyone to focus. Please, guys, everyone. Okay. So now we know that this is the first P element. This is giving me the first P element. Okay, document.query selector first is giving me the first P element. Okay, now as I told you, in DOM manipulation, you can manipulate the content, you can manipulate the style, you can manipulate the attribute. So the first thing that we're going to learn is how to manipulate the content. And when I say content, the content is nothing but the content or the thing that is present between the closing and the opening tag. That is the tag's content. So let's see how to change the content of the element, how to change the content of the element. Okay, so now see, this thing is giving me the P element, right? Everyone, please. We are going to get hard copy of certificate. Yes, Siddesh. Yes, buddy. Yes, you guys are gonna get it. Don't worry, guys. If you have doubts about certificates, about attendance, don't worry. At the end, we can have a 5-minute chat based on that. Right now, try to ask doubts related to the things that we are doing. That will save a lot of time for us. Okay. Hey guys, please like focus now. Please focus, everyone. I can see a lot of focus going here and there. Please focus, everyone. Please focus. Okay. So once you have got your element, okay, then you want to work with the content of that element. In this case, the content is nothing but what? This. Hello, everyone. So there's a simple property available. There is a simple property available that will help you to work with the textual content, and that is you can use dot, and then you can use something called as inner text. Simply, you can use something called as inner text, and then you can pass any value for it. Something like, okay, I want to pass, let's say, Saurabh. Okay, so now see, guys, everyone, please focus here. Here in my P, I have given what? Hello, everyone. So I know that in HTML code, in my first P tag, I have hello, everyone. But from JavaScript, I'm actually manipulating it. I have fetched the element, and I'm saying I want your inner text to be Saurabh. Okay, so now let's see if it is actually changing. Let's go here, refresh, and can you see, everyone? Now I have changed the text of the first P element. Are we cleared, everyone? That's how you can change the textual content of any element, by using the inner text property. Everyone, are we understanding this? Please tell me. Guys, everyone, please, about certificates, about attendance, we can have a chat session of 5 minutes at the end. Please don't ask all that right now. Right now, please focus here. Okay, we have limited time. Why do we do this? Neeraj, you have seen websites, right? On websites, when you click on the button, something happens. When you click somewhere, something happens. Some text gets changed, some text gets added. This is the basic thing. This is the starting of DOM manipulation. Now we are changing text. We can also change elements. We can also remove elements. We're going step by step. Is that clear? Akash, don't worry, I'm going to explain you that as well. So guys, have we understood this? Please tell me, guys. Are we cleared with this? Please, let's go step by step, guys. See, don't worry about all your doubts, like how to do this, how to do that. We are going step by step. Just tell me, have you understood this or not? And then we can move ahead, and I'm going to teach you everything. Don't worry. Okay, cool. Now, this was how you change the data. What if I don't want to change it? What if I don't want to change it? I simply want to get it. I want to see what is the data in there. Okay. So again, the first important step is to fetch the element. So again, document dot get element, no get, I'm using query selector, I forgot. Query selector, and again, dot first. So again, fetching the element. Okay. Let me just put it inside a console.log so that I can show you. Okay. Now I don't want to change the text. I just want to fetch the text and see. So what is the text initially, guys? The text is hello everyone. I simply want to fetch this. I want to see what is the text. So it's simple. Just put dot inner text and that's it. And here we go. See, I can get it. I'm getting whatever text was inside that p tag. I can see what was there. So now you know, if you want to change it, simply you have to put dot inner text equals to something that you want to change. And if you don't want to change, simply put dot inner text and you can get the data. So that's how you can get the data and set the data. Get the content and set the content. If you want to set the content, simply put equal to whatever you want to put there. And if you simply want to get the content, simply simply fetch the element and dot inner text. You'll get their data. Is that clear, everyone? So inner text is the property for doing both the things. If you want to change it, just put equal to something. If you don't want to change it, don't use equal to. Just simply fetch it. That's all. Are we cleared? If don't use inner text, I think Chandresh, you're not focusing on it. We saw this, right? If I don't use inner text, this is giving me what? The element, right? Chandresh, are you focused here? Are you understanding this? Please tell me. We saw this, right, earlier. This is giving me the element. This is giving me the element, the whole p element, and I want only that content inside it. So basically this is giving me the whole p element, and if I put dot inner text, I will get the textual content of it. Everyone, that's what I'm telling you. Don't focus on assignments right now. Don't focus on your attendance. Don't focus on certificates. Focus on learning. That's important. Certificates, assignment, everything, you'll get it. We can have a chat session. Focus on the lecture right now. Okay, everyone, that's the important thing. Okay. Remember, guys, the base concept is get the element and then you can work with it. So I hope you guys understood what is inner text and how to use it. Everyone, are we clear with this? Okay, cool. Now let's move ahead. Now, actually, I want to show you one more thing. Now, focus on this, guys. Focus on this. Okay. Let's say I have a div tag. Please, guys, everyone focus. I give it a ID, okay, of, let's say, sec. Okay, so I give it an ID of sec. Don't worry, course easy. I'm also going to show you that. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. And everyone joining late, please, you guys are lagging behind the video. So watch it completely. You'll understand everything. Don't worry. Okay, guys, please focus, everyone. So now I have a div here. I've created a div here. I'm going to give it some CSS. So dot sec. Okay. So height of 200 pixels, width of 200 pixels, and background color of red. Okay, so I have a div, and yes, I have given it ID of, right? So let's put hash here. I cannot put dot because it's an ID, it's not a class. Okay, so I have a div. I have given height 200, width 200, and background red. So I should get a block here. Here we go. Okay, so now I have an element here of height 200, width 200, and background color red. Simple. Okay. Now what I actually want to do here, I want to put some content inside that. I want to put some text inside that div. Now you guys tell me first, how can I fetch this sec element? Everyone, come on, very fast. How can I fetch this sec element in my JavaScript? Come on, everyone. What do I have to write to fetch this sec element in my JavaScript? Everyone, write it down in the chat. Come on. I want to see how many of you are understanding. Guys, come on, tell me. How can I fetch this sec element in JavaScript? How to fetch this sec element, this div in JavaScript? Everyone, come on guys, start telling me. Query selector hash sec. Exactly. Perfect. Right? Course easy, don't worry. I'm going to show you that how to do on click. Don't worry, buddy. Don't worry. Okay. So let's write it. Document dot query selector hash sec. Perfect. This will fetch the sec for me. Now I want to put some text inside it. So I can use again, I can simply use inner text. And then I can put like anything like let's upgrade. Sir, we can do the same thing with CSS. Then why we are using JavaScript with this? No, Vaibhav, no. JavaScript and CSS are different. Whatever you do with CSS is fixed. It's loaded in the start. JavaScript can manipulate your elements on runtime. Manipulate. So that's what manipulation means, right, Vaibhav? So that's the basic understanding. So again, I would suggest you to again watch that session, HTML and CSS. You'll understand what CSS is doing, and then you'll understand what JS is doing. CSS, whatever you do with CSS, it's fixed and the start. JS can actually manipulate your site live on the go. That's the difference. Okay. Now, guys, see, let's focus on it. What is the difference between get element by ID and query selector? There is no difference. If you use a query selector, see, query selector gives you an option of passing everything. By using just a single function of query selector, you can fetch elements using class name, using tag name, using ID. But when you use get element by ID, you can only fetch the elements by ID. That's the difference, Avinash. I hope you're understanding. You saw it, right? I used a query selector to fetch elements using class name. I use the query selector to fetch the elements using ID as well. But if you're using get element by ID, you can only fetch the elements using ID. You cannot pass class in get element by ID. You cannot pass tag name in get element by ID. Is that clear? Okay. Now, guys, please focus, everyone. Let's see, do we get this let's upgrade inside that red div? Let's see. And here we go. See, we got this let's upgrade inside the red element. Okay, we got this. Is query selector recently added in JS? No, Bishan, no. It's not recently added. It's from years. It's not recently added. Okay. So everyone, are we cleared? Everyone, are we cleared? Okay. Guys, please focus. Now we are going to do something really important. Are we cleared with this? Understandable, right? Inside the div, we put some text using the inner text property. Okay. Now, what I want to do here is I'm trying, instead of passing just a text, can I also pass an HTML element with it? Instead of passing just a text, can I also pass an HTML element with it? Now, this is what I am trying to do here. Instead of just passing text, can I also pass HTML element with it? Let's try if it is working. Save it, go here, refresh, and see, this is what we get. It's not getting executed. The browser is not understanding this H1. The browser is not understanding this H1 because if the browser has understood it, it should make it bold and big. It's not understanding. And that's what inner text does. Inner text can be only used for text because it treats everything like a text. So even if you pass HTML tags, it will consider it as a text. Is that clear? And that's why you have to use something called as inner HTML, which understands the difference between tags and text. And it lets the browser understand that, okay, fine, this is a tag, this is a text. Treat them properly. And now if you do use this, working. So that's the difference between inner text and inner HTML. Inner text treats everything as a text. Inner HTML treats tags as HTML tags and text as normal text. Okay, now I hope everyone understood the difference between inner text and inner HTML. That's the difference between inner text and inner HTML. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone now. Everyone, guys, please tell me, are we clear with this? Yes, Fiona, yes, you're correct. Yes, if we add, it will work, definitely. Okay. Inner text treats text, whereas inner HTML understands what is text and what is tag. Yep, Bishan, yes, you're correct. So we should always use inner HTML, right? Said, yeah, why not, Avinash? Why not? Definitely, you can go for it. But inner HTML is like a bigger function than inner text, because inner text is simpler. See, you also have to think about the execution. Inner HTML goes with multiple rounds of execution internally, because it has to understand everything. It has to understand what is tag and what is text. Okay, and inner text works is simpler. Okay, because it only has to understand what is text. So the execution of inner HTML takes a little longer. You'll not see it. It is not visible in this case. It's like really fast. But on long assignments, in big projects, you'll understand that inner HTML takes a little longer time. And that's why if you have only text, go for inner text and not inner HTML. Okay, everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared? So that's how you can work with the content. Don't worry, I'm going to show you everything. We're also going to make something really cool, like a small thing. Don't worry, I'll also show you how to, like, what you call, take input and everything. But let's go for it. What else do you teach? I almost teach a lot of things actually. I teach JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, Angular, Vue, Next, Node.js, app development using Flutter, React Native, a lot of things, Chandresh. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead. So that's how you manipulate content. Remember it, right? That's how you manipulate content. Now we are shifting a little. Okay, we are shifting a little, and now we have to see how to work with the attributes. How to work with the attributes. How to write in HTML code. I'm not like getting your question course easy. I think we just wrote it, right? That's how you write in HTML code. Course easy. Yes, Vishnu, I also teach PHP, buddy. Yes. Okay, guys. So now let's move ahead. Everyone, are we ready? Can we move ahead now? Please tell me. I'm going to extend it a little. I'll extend it for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So guys, let's move ahead now and let's see how to work with the attribute. Okay. How to work with the attribute. But actually before that, I want to teach you one more thing. Okay. Before that, I want to teach you one more thing. Okay. And the next topic that I wanted to teach you really was this. Something called as functions. Okay. Guys, please try to understand. It's really simple. Yes, I will also tell you what is attribute. Don't worry. Course easy. Don't worry. So guys, if you're from HTML and CSS background, you already know what is an attribute. If you have never learned HTML, then I know that you will not know what is attribute. So I'll tell you what is attribute. Don't worry. Okay. So now, guys, the next topic that I want to teach you before moving on to DOM manipulation is functions. So instead of using time, I'll directly tell you what is a function. So a function is nothing but a block of code. A function is nothing but a block of code. Now, when I say a block of code, you know something like this, right? You know something like this. So a function is nothing but a block of code, okay, which mostly has a name. So this block can have a name like ABC, okay. And whenever you create a function, it always goes like this. So give any name and then parentheses. Whenever you give a name to the function, this thing is very important. Parentheses. So a function is nothing but a block of code, mostly having a name. That's it. A block of code which has a name, or a named block of code. That's it. And it does not execute by default. That means this code will now not execute by default. To execute a function, you have to call it. So to call the function, you simply have to use the name of that function. So simply write ABC and this, and then you'll be simply calling this code. That's it. That's the basic explanation. Okay, that's the basic explanation. A function is nothing but a block of code which mostly has a name, and it does not execute by default by itself. To execute that function, you have to call it, and to call it, you simply have to write the name and the parenthesis, and that's it. And don't worry, you'll understand what is the use of it in some time. But are we clear at least with the concept here, guys? A function is nothing but a block of code, a set of code that is doing something, and mostly it has a name. You have to give it a name, and then it is not executed by default. To execute it, you have to call it. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared? We need to, yes, yes, Avinash, yes, yes, don't worry. This is just like a block, a syntax that I'm giving you. Don't worry. Don't worry. The concept, are you guys understanding the concept? Okay, now guys, let's see how to actually create a function in JavaScript then. So now you know the concept. A function is nothing but a block of code which does not execute by default. It's simply nothing but a block of code like a related code, that's all. And when you want to execute it, you have to call that function. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create a function. So if you want to create a function in JavaScript, you have to use this keyword function and then give any name. So let's call it do something. Okay, remember, after the name you have to put this parenthesis. It's very important. Now we are not going to go in very deep because we have less time, so we are not going to go in very deep in functions, but we'll understand the basics. Okay, and inside this block you can write any code. So for example, our code can be console.log hello, I am a function. Save it, and now let's see if it is doing something. See, no output on the console. No output on the console. Even if I have console.log, there is no output on the console because it's a function, and we know it doesn't get called by default. It's not getting executed. To execute a function, you have to call it, and to call a function, you simply have to use the name of that function. So simply use do something bracket and semicolon, and that's done. Here we are actually telling the function to execute. I want to call that function. Sir, after this, please tell us how to make front-end full portfolio website. Oh, that's a big thing, but that's fine. Today is the last session, so let me see. Okay. Yes, I will also teach you how to function. Don't worry. I'll tell you a little about it. Don't worry. I'll tell you a little about it. I'll at least tell you how to create it. I'll at least tell you how to create it. Not the whole concept, but at least how to create it. Don't worry. Okay, guys. So now see, if I call it, here we go. Hello, I am a function. Now, if you want, you can also call it multiple times. It will execute multiple times for you. You can also call it like 10 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. And that's the thing that function gives you. Function is basically for reusability. For example, let's say you have some set of code. You have a block of code that you're going to need 10 times. So instead of writing that code 10 times, you can create a function and then simply call that function 10 times. You don't have to write the whole code 10 times. That's what functions give you. That's the feature that function gives you. They give you reusability of a code. So let's say, for example, here inside this, you have 100 lines of code. Here you have 100 lines of code. Okay, so you wrote it only once, but you can just call it any time and you can use that 100 lines anytime, anywhere. Is that clear? If you don't have the concept, you have to write these 100 lines every time you need these 100 lines. But now you can simply write that 100 lines, give it a name, and then call it. And that's how you're getting reusability. You don't have to write this 100 lines 4 times. You can simply call the functions 4 times. Is that clear? That's what function gives you. It's a block of code that has a name mostly, okay, and it doesn't get executed by default. You have to call it, and the base thing that it gives you is reusability. You can write it once, write the code once, and call it 10 times, 1,000 times, doesn't matter. Its main purpose to avoid repetition of same. Exactly, Avinash. Yes, Deepdatani, it depends. Now see, calling depends. Sometimes you have to call it on different places. Sometimes you want to call it 10 times, then you can use loops. Sometimes you want to call it on different occasions in different files. So now it totally depends. The main reason of creating a function is to create a block of code that can be reused. Now, how you want to reuse it, it depends. You want to reuse it in a loop. You want to reuse it on different locations. You want to reuse it on different lines of code. You want to reuse it in different file. It totally depends. Is that clear? But yeah, if you want, you can call it in a loop. No one is stopping you. Deep. So guys, are we cleared, everyone? Are we clear with the concept of functions? Please tell me. Guys, are we clear with the concept of functions? Yes, we can definitely pass values, but I'm not teaching that right now because we still want to cover a lot of things. Okay. So guys, can we move ahead now? Everyone, can we move ahead? Okay. Now, what if I don't want to call the function like this? What if I don't want to call the function like this? What if I want to call this function based on a button? What if I want to call this function if the user clicks a button? How to do that? How to perform something when, like, based on user click, based on user event, how to perform something. So now you're going to learn that. So now I have this function which is not getting executed. See, it's not getting executed. That's cool. Now here I go, okay, and I create a button. So remove this h1 and I create a button here. Click. Here we go. I have this click button. Now what I want is, if I click on this button, I want that function to get called and I want the output in the console. So how to do that? And that's really, really, really simple. What you do is you simply go in the button. There's an attribute named onClick. It's simply an event handler. Okay, so there is an attribute named onClick, and then inside this onClick, you can simply pass your function. That is nothing but what? Do something. And that's it. Done and dusted. Now you're saying onClick, do something. That means onClick, call this function. And that's it. Now let's see. Click, and here we go. Click, click, click. See, it's continuously getting called. So whenever I click, that function is getting called. Is that cleared? Is that cleared, everyone? Are we cleared with this? So that's how you can perform a user event. When the user clicks, you can do this. Now, click is a single user event. You have double click, you have hover, you have mouse move, you have mouse on, you have mouse in, mouse out, mouse down, mouse up. You have a lot of events. And don't worry, in future, we'll also learn all of those as well. But in this case, click is enough. So guys, are we cleared? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared with on click? Everyone, are we cleared with on click? Guys, please tell me. Okay. So basically, you have performed event handling. This concept is known as event handling. Basically, based on a user event, you're doing something. So this thing is completely called event handling. Okay, this thing is called what? Event handling. Now, what we can do here is, if you want, you can move this line of code. See, you can move this line of code, move this console.log. Here we go, like this. Now, basically, whenever do something will be called, I'll fetch the sec element and I'll put this h1 let's upgrade inside this. Yes, Bishan on click can be used with any element, buddy. Any element. Why not? How to change the color of the button by click? I'll tell you that. Let's see if we have that much time. Okay, that's basically manipulation of CSS. So guys, what I want, see, I moved my code of putting h1 in my sec element inside the function. That means now see what will happen. Now if I click on this button, here we go. Do you guys see that, everyone? Everyone, are we understanding? See, now I can simply put the content on click of a button dynamically. Now I'm not doing anything in the code. Someone was asking, right, if we can do it with CSS, then what is the need of JavaScript? Now, see, this is what you can do with JavaScript. The website is running. We are not changing anything in the code. And we simply click on the button and we perform something. We add some content dynamically. This is something that you cannot do with CSS. Is that clear, everyone? This is something that you cannot do with CSS, and that's where JavaScript comes. And now this is the basic. You can do a lot of things. A lot of things. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. Now, I will teach you one last thing for today. I'll teach you one last thing for today because we are almost on time. So someone was asking how to read values, right? So at least I'll teach you how to read the value of a input tag, how to get a value from the user. So let's do it. So let me remove these two p's or just comment it out. Okay. So let's create an input tag for that. Let's simply put type text. Okay, type text and give it an ID of INP. Here we go. You have this input, right? Let's give it a placeholder, like placeholder enter name. So now, how to get input from user? Yes, Chetan, that's what we are doing, buddy. Chetan Parashar, that's what we are doing. So don't worry. Don't worry at all. Okay. So now, guys, what I want is, if the user writes something in it, see what I'm trying to do. If the user writes something in it, if I click here, whatever the user is writing here, I want to put inside this red div. Are you guys getting my point? Are you guys getting what I'm trying to do? Whatever the user writes here, on click of this button, I want to put this inside this red div. How can I do that? So there are two stages. One is we know how to put content on this red div. We know how to do that. But how to read the data from that input thing, that we don't know. Okay. So remember, guys, there is a value attribute inside input element. There is also a value attribute inside the input element. And that is the attribute that we're going to use to read the value. Remember, that is the attribute that we're going to use to read the value of that input. So we are not going to write it here, but we're going to directly use this attribute in JavaScript. So let's see. Let me comment this out first. Okay. Now let's do it. Document dot get, sorry, now again I wrote get query selector hash INP. So guys, see how to work with any attribute of any element. First, fetch the element. Then finally, dot any attribute. Doesn't matter, any of its attribute. You can get the class attribute, you can get the ID attribute, you can get the placeholder attribute, you can get the type attribute. But what attribute I need? I need the value attribute. I need what? The value attribute. And just to show you if I'm getting the value or not, I'm going to print it. Console.log value, this thing. Okay. Can we do multiple changes in on click? Why not? That's what I'm going to do. Don't worry. So now see, I'm printing the value that the user is writing inside the input box. So I first fetch the input box and then I access the value attribute by using dot value. By applying this dot, you can access any attribute. You can access the type attribute, you can access the ID attribute, you can access the placeholder attribute, you can also access the on-click attribute, you can access the ID attribute. Doesn't matter. But in this case, I'm going to use the value attribute because that's what stores the value of the text box. Let's see it now, everyone. Let me write Saurabh. Click, and here we go. Can you see that? Whatever I am writing, I can get it here. If I write, let's say, or, here we go. Are we clear with this, everyone? Guys, are we cleared with this? Please tell me. And when I say I can put any attribute, you can actually put any attribute. See, I can also show you that. Instead of this, put the type attribute. I'm fetching the type attribute now. What is the value of type attribute? See, guys, it's text, right? Let's see, do we get the text? Tick. Here we go. We get, what is the type attribute's value? Text. But we don't need the type attribute. We need what attribute? The value attribute. And for value, you should write something. Otherwise, there will be null value. See, if I clear it completely, then there is no value. It's blank. Right? That's why you should write something. So let's write Saurabh. And here we go. Done. Now, I simply want to put this data on this red div. How can I do that? How can I do that? It's really simple. See, what I'll do is I'll store this value in a variable. Let's say let name equals to this. So whatever value I'm getting, I'm storing it in the name variable. And then we know that this line of code is doing that thing. This line of code is actually putting content in that red div. So now instead of putting let's upgrade, and again I have a variable and string. So I'm again going to use templating. Remember that templating? You have to put backticks, and inside this name, and that's it. So this is the content that I want to put inside this sec div, and that's it. So when I call do something, what will happen? First, I'll get the data from input. I'll store it in the name variable. Then I'll generate this string and put whatever is getting generated inside that div. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared with this? Please tell me. And remember this, right? I hope you guys remember this. That's how you, like what you do. You add string and variable together, right? We have learned in the first lecture, right? Everyone, we have learned this in the first lecture, right? Do you remember? So here, I wanted to mix string and variable. So I used the backticks, and that's it. Save it. What do you want to repeat, Yuvraj? What is your confusion? Is this your confusion? Because we have covered this in the first lecture only. I wanted to use my string and variable together, right? So this is the way you do it. This is the way how we do it, right, everyone? Suppose we are taking input using input tag and display on console without on click on any button while writing something in the input simultaneously displaying. Yes, Akash, I'll tell you that as well. Don't worry. So now, guys, let's see. Saurabh, when I click, I'll take the value, put it in name, and then I'll put it on the red element. Here we go. If I just go here, let's say, let's upgrade. Here we go. Session. Here we go. So guys, are we cleared with this? Everyone, are we cleared with this? Yes, by this you can create a to-do list project. Why not? Why not? Sir, we will use the get element by ID also. No, not here, not in today's session, buddy. Not in today's session, because this is the last day and we are almost over time. Okay, so not in this one. But I hope you guys are at least clear with the basics of DOM manipulation, because our aim was to understand the basic, right? So I hope you guys understood the basic. Like if we had 2 more sessions, we would have completed a lot of things. But that's fine. Today was the last day, so I hope you guys understood. And now, if you want to learn more about it, if you want to learn everything about JavaScript, everything about Node.js, React, and you can please come with us and join our advanced sessions where I teach everything from the scratch: JavaScript, React, Angular, and everything. So that was this thing. And yes, someone was asking how to do this. If I like print here, like if I start writing here, how to put it in the console, right? You can also do that. See, guys. Okay, see everyone, please focus here. Simple change. See, what happens is I write something, then I perform click, and on this click, my function is getting called. So I print in the console, right? This is happening normally. What you have to do is you simply have to, yes, Akash, if you're interested in the advanced JS, what you can do is you can go on LetsUpgrade.in and you can enroll in our course. Okay, you can also get all the information about the course there, and then you can like talk to us and enroll in our advanced course where we learn like everything. So if you're interested, please check the links. Okay, so who was asking this? Akash, yes. See, so what you have to do is now you don't have to perform one click. You just go on that text box only and just perform something called as on key up. Now this is called whenever you press the keys. Whenever you press keyboard keys, this function is called. And just call do something here. And that's it. Now see. If I put A, C. You see that? Is that cleared? Is that cleared? Is that cleared? Are we cleared, everyone? Yes, I know right now, like at the end, I'm speaking a little faster because we have to like end almost everything, but I still want to solve your doubt, guys. That's why I'm like going a little faster. So that's it. I call the same function that is doing what? That is taking input value and printing it on the console. But instead of calling it on click, I called it on key up, and that's it. That's it. So in future, there will be 10-15 days session happen. Why not? Yeah, we are planning for 6-day session, 7-day session. Okay, see, I'll show you one more thing then. Let's not print it on console. Let's not print it on console. Let's directly put it here. If I put it directly here, you can do this, Ree. You can do this. See, you can also do this. That's the magic of JavaScript, right? And also, so that's it. That's it. Now, instead of calling on click, instead of calling the function on click, I'm writing it and calling that function, and I'm putting it on the red element. So the functionality is still the same. The only difference was instead of calling the function on click, I called it on key up of the input. So now if I write anything in the input, I'll take the value, put it on red. So anytime I press any key in my keyboard, I take the value from the input and I put it on the red diff. Is that cleared? Everyone, are we cleared? Sir, can you please tell us how to build beautiful portfolio website with HTML5, CSS3 and JavaScript? Yes, you can build it, but again, see, Course Easy, you can do one thing. In the last session of my HTML and CSS essentials, I have shown how to create a beautiful responsive template. You can watch that and you can understand how to build the responsive template, how to build the portfolio template. You can actually watch that session. So the last session of HTML and CSS essentials, that was the project session, I have taught how to actually create a complete responsive template. Okay, so you can watch that and you can learn how to build your portfolio thing as well. So I know master HTML, CSS, JavaScript, sir. Oh, that's cool then. That's cool then. So then what is the confusion if you're the like if you know everything and if you are the master of HTML, CSS, and JS, then what is the confusion, buddy? There is no session video. What is happening? Let me just see. Is it true that there is no session video? Let me just see first. Okay, I think if it is not on YouTube, I think you have to go in the website. You have to go on LetsUpgrade.in and you have to sign up, and I think there you can find it out. I think that's the thing, I think, right? Umang, are you there in the background? I think they have to sign in the site, right? Okay. So guys, see, if it is not on YouTube, don't worry. It is still free and it is still available on our site. So you have to go on LetsUpgrade.in and then you have to log in, sign up and log in, and then you'll get the videos. Then you'll get the videos properly. Okay. Are we clear? Then you have to enroll for the program. So once you log in, you'll get a program section, enroll for the program, and there you'll find all the videos of HTML and CSS essentials. Is that cleared? Is that clear, everyone? So don't worry if it is not on YouTube. It's still on our site. So first sign up and log in and then do it. It's available on our site. Everyone who is watching the session, everyone who is attending our sessions, please sign up with Let's Upgrade. Just go there. You're going to find a lot of useful free resources. Plus, you can ask your doubts anytime and I'll solve it for you on the community. Okay. No, it is only available for registered student. Okay. It's not deleted. It's unlisted. Okay. So let me see, guys. Let me see what I can do for it. Let me talk to the team once. Let me see if I can like list it again on YouTube. Let me check it out. Deepak, I think it was only for the registered student for that course. So let me do one thing. Let me check with the team and I'll try to make it available again on YouTube. So maybe by tomorrow it will be available on YouTube. Let me check it once. Okay, everyone. Okay, see, we have a news, guys. We have an upcoming HTML and CSS essentials in few days. So you don't have to worry, guys. You don't have to worry. Also, like, see, I'll try to make the old videos listed again on YouTube by tomorrow, but you don't have to worry because in some time, in like maybe a week or some days, we're also going to have one more HTML and CSS essentials. So you don't have to worry. Is that cleared? Okay. So everyone, that's it for today. And I really hope that you enjoyed the sessions. I really hope that you learned a lot from these sessions. So please tell me in the chat, guys, have we learned a lot of things? Have we enjoyed the session? That is important. Have we enjoyed the session, everyone? When the React session will happen, I think we have changed the date. I think it's not on Saturday and Sunday. I think it's starting from 16th. And now it's of 3 days. So we're going to do a lot of things. We're also going to build a mini project. So guys, from 16th, we are going to have a React session, a React essential session on YouTube. So 16th, guys, remember the date, everyone, 16th. I really want all of you guys to come there, and I really want all of you to take your friends with you and come there. I want really large numbers because we're going to do a lot of React. We're going to do pretty cool projects there. Okay. So I hope you will come. Please tell me, guys, are you going to come there in the React essential session? That's on 16th. And don't worry, if the date changes, you'll be informed on the community. So just sign up on the community. If any date changes are there, you'll be informed. But I really want all of you to be in the React session because we're going to do a lot of things. Okay, so you have like a week. You can learn a little bit of HTML and CSS. You can learn more JavaScript, and then you can come to the React session where we're going to do a lot of things. So I want all of you to be there in my React Essentials that is starting from 16th. And from tomorrow, we are starting with a bootstrap session, I think. Let me check the date once. So maybe from tomorrow, we are starting with a bootstrap session. I also want you guys to be there as well. I'm going to take it, the bootstrap session. I'm going to take it from tomorrow. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed teaching you. Okay, and let's hope that you join the advanced sessions as well with us, and then I can get you and I can teach you like everything from scratch. And I really hope to see you in all other essentials as well. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for today. Bye-bye, everyone. See you in the advanced sessions or in the next essential session. Okay, guys? So bye-bye, everyone. See you.